Patrick, guess what came in the mail today?
Oh, what?
This.
Stick it in!
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the first ever episode in the new year of 2024 of the M&K Productions Podcast. I'm your host with the most, Mac from Mac Movie Reviews, joined here by my co-host with the most, Kristin, aka Miss Flamingo. Kristin, how you doing in this fine new year?
I'm doing good in this fine new year. Happy New Year, everyone. It's
We
time
haven't
for a
talked to you-
new year with new movies.
We have not talked to you all since last year.
Boo! You suck!
Yeah, literally, it's been a year since we talked.
I hate those jokes so much. You're like, I
I
haven't
know.
seen you since, like, shut up. Like, over here,
Yeah,
that is freaking.
I know, but
Dude.
you say that. It's just like, yeah, I did talk to you a year ago, even though like a year ago was yesterday.
But what are we doing on this episode? What are we kicking off the new year with?
Okay, so we got to go back in 2023 for just a brief period of time to discuss the worst movies of 2023.
Yes.
Yeah. Over this time when it was Christmas and everything, I certainly catched up on movies that I didn't think were going to be that bad. Were bad, and I'm sure you did the same as well. Did you catch up on some movies over the Christmas holiday?
I caught up on stuff that was good, but all the movies I knew that were terrible, like they kind of made their way on the list. Maybe like one movie got moved because I did watch one of the rankings on there. That's number 4.
Mm-hmm.
But that's really it.
I took chances on some stuff, but didn't think it was going to be that bad, but it was. So I didn't know why I wasted my time, but I did see a lot of good stuff, which we'll talk about in the following episode. But I do have a lot of bad stuff. I don't know how many movies I saw this year were bad. I had many dishonorable mentions. I couldn't even believe my list, and I was like,
I feel like I have more I started, so at time of this recording, I did start the best list. I do have a lot more honorable mentions on that one because I'm like, damn, there's a lot of good movies. But as I'm looking at my my worst list, it actually matches the dishonorable mentions too. Because there's so many movies that like I want to say it's bad, but they weren't like top 10 bad.
like one of the films like I thought that was going to be in my top 10 was going to be Ghosted, which was the Chris Evans movie that was released earlier this year, directed by Dexter Fletcher.
Mm-hmm.
It was so close, but the films I picked, I was like, yeah, this is a reason why this film got an F, but I gave like Ghosted like a D, even though it wasn't that great. I understand why. So, are you ready to jump into it, Mac?
Yes, and I will start off with mine, number 10. That's where we are, folks. We're at number 10. So my number 10 worst film of the year on my list. It's a little controversial, and a few of these are a little controversial, but I feel like this one's the biggest controversy. I'm going to say Scream 6.
This isn't like any other ghost face. What is this place?
It's a shrine.
Guys? We've got to lure him in.
We execute him.
Come on, mother!
Scream.
It's for you.
Only in theaters March 10th.
Okay, yeah, you're not wrong. A couple of people have included that. Some said it was pretty good. I'm in that camp where I did like it for some aspects, but I do understand where some audiences were kind of let down by it. But go ahead.
I just feel like what we got from Scream 5, that being a very good reboot / sequel, I thought that Scream 6 would kind of take that next step and like, oh, it's gonna be in a bigger. I was a little iffy about the new setting, but I'm like, okay, maybe this will work this time. But it was just left. It felt like it was a rehash of 2. I felt that the reveal of the killers was really dumb. I'm like, wow, this is really Scream 2. I did like Hayden Panettiere coming back as Kirby because I thought her character was awesome.
That was
in
one of the
Scream 4.
strongest aspects of the film.
But then a problem too with it, it's just the pacing in it was just very off with it. I did like Melissa Barrera and Jenna Ortega's relationship, like I think they grow still, but they're both gone for Scream 7. So
Everything is gone
yeah,
for
we
the
don't
new film.
we
We
don't
don't
know
know
what-
what's happening.
so this film is a very weird, just nothing. Like I feel like nothing really happened of substantial, you know.
I get you.
But yeah, that's it. Scream 6, and a lot of people were like, "What? Scream 6 was like." People put it in this best list. Like, I didn't. I've been a very detractor of Scream 6 all year.
I will say I like it more than like Scream 3. I will put that.
I mean,
will say
anything's
that
better
there.
than Scream 3.
Yeah.
So
I
that's
should
not-
say
that's-
any of the Scream
that's
films are
not-
better than Scream 3.
That's not a hard thing to do. You just
Okay.
overtake Scream 3. But what about you? What's your number 10?
Okay, my number 10 is a recent family film. It's by our good old friend Mick G, and that is Netflix's Family Switch.
What are you doing in my bed?
You're in my bed.
Why am I in your bed, Mom?
What is happening?
That's me.
CT?
Mom? Wyatt?
Dad.
The hell is that?
It's a movie starring Jennifer Garner, Ed Helms, and it's basically a Christmas family switcheroo Freaky Friday movie where they switch places with their kids. So Jennifer Garner is her daughter, like her and her daughter switch bodies, and Ed Helms and his son switch bodies, and they go on this Freaky Friday like journey, and
Oh my
it felt
gosh.
like very artificial. It felt very much like a McG film when I was watching it, like with the gags and stuff. It was kind of predictable with the gags and stuff. Like they had like one of the things was like they also had like a dog in the film and a baby. So the dog and the baby switched places, and
Why?
so the baby, would pee in certain places, like the dog where the dog would pee, like by like the Christmas tree and stuff like that. Because it's like dysfunctional family. Oh, look at us. Oh, we're so silly. And then like when Jennifer Garner and Ed Helms are together in a scene where it's supposed to be like the brother and sisters, like, brains and minds or something.
Yeah.
They're supposed to kiss each other.
Why?
It's like, oh, it's just creepy and it's supposed to be weird. Oh, it's so silly. They're brother and sister. I was just like,
Dude! What the fuck?
it's I didn't find any of the jokes funny. Poor Rita Moreno shows up in it.
Talk
And
about an up and down year for her. She was in 80 for Brady, which is actually a surprise film of the year, and then she ends up in this shit.
yeah, I don't recommend it. I gave this film a D, but really quickly, I'll just read over my review. And I wrote, Mick G's Christmas film is unbelievably artificial and not funny. It's painful to get through. It's a Freaky Friday family switch up in the most unamusing way possible. All the laughs and gags are predictable. Like I said, it has no impact whatsoever. I will say Jennifer Garner makes it watchable because I do love Jennifer Garner. So, like, that's why I took the chance. Otherwise, if Jennifer Garner probably wasn't in this movie, I wasn't going to watch it. Because I do have a warm spot for Jennifer Garner. So, but yeah, that was my pick for number 10.
Okay. So moving on to number 9. My number 9 pick is going to be Happiness for Beginner, another Netflix movie, because this movie
Oh.
was boring. I will say I gave it credit. It's a very pretty film to look at. Like it's
A
beautiful.
very pretty
It-
film.
No. Let me explain. I actually mean this in not like in hyperbole. They actually did a really good job with cinematography because I believe this was filmed in Northern Connecticut, so near me, and they did a good job. Like they actually had a lot of good shots, and it gives you a very good like summer, spring, fall vibes to it. Like it's very like a nice atmosphere, but like there's nothing to the movie. It's just a high budget Hallmark movie, and it's just so. Like when we did our watch along of Home Sweet Alone, I completely forgot that Ellie Kemper was in this movie.
She's been making some interesting choices lately. I feel like
Yeah,
after she did Kimmy Schmidt or whatever, the Netflix show, she
Gilbert
hasn't
Gold-
been picking
yeah.
the best choices for film, but
she's better than this. I don't know what the hell she's doing, or do you need money? I will give you money, please. Like the thing about Happiness for Beginner is that I watched this on vacation, so I feel like I wasted a vacation night on this. But like, it's just nothing of substance.
did you watch it with your family?
Yes, I did.
I remember when you seemed to really like your life and you laughed all the time.
Yeah, I was young.
Now you're still really young.
You don't realize it, but life really takes a toll.
You got to figure out a way to fight back.
To the trail.
At least you were with your family. You could all
Oh,
suck
I
in
didn't want to
together.
watch it. I wanted to watch like something else, like anything else. But like, I just, I was just like, can we watch something else? Like, because then by the ending, you kind of knew what was gonna happen, and it's all with these rom com movies. They always have like the funny flamboyant friend, the silent person, or and then you have the main love interest is like, oh, will they get along? Will they, they're gonna get along, or they I've known you for years, but then I'm gonna like, it's so dumb.
That's too bad. Oh, well, sorry you went through that.
Yeah, well.
Okay. Anyways, my number 9 goes to, I don't know how it is. I feel like in the past, an Exorcist movie has creeped up on my list. It didn't last year.
Oh no.
So there's going to be 2 Exorcist movies on this
I know
list.
one of them, but I want to know which one this one is.
This movie came out back in April.
Okay, so it's not the all right.
We'll get to the other one shortly, but stars the
Oh,
one and
I-
only
oh!
Russell Crowe,
It just hit me what it was.
the
Oh
Pope's
my
exorcist.
This is the most powerful demon I've encountered. But this is not about the boy. The Vatican buried the truth here. Let's see what you're hiding. The Pope's Exorcist, exclusively in movie theaters.
I completely forgot about. Okay, so before you get into that, I will say when you told me your list and I looked at my list, I had to go back and see what came out to really make sure I watched half of these because I completely forgot about the movie because it had hype of like, oh, Russell Crowe is in a horror movie, and then nothing. Just nothing after that.
And I feel like so many of the Exorcist films that I've seen lately, like, except for Talk to Me, with the hands, like that involves like exorcism and go whatever.
Mhm.
So many exorcists, like ghost movie shit, has been so bad. Like everything has been the same. It's been redone over and over again. Nothing new happens. And in the Pope's Exorcist, I was so bored. Like I put this on as I was doing like, the basic chores of like laundry. Like I like to, y'all, when I do my laundry, I always love to put on a movie or a TV show.
That's
So
one
I
should.
put this on. It was on Netflix and I knew I wasn't going to pay to see this. So I thought, all right, I have Netflix. It's on here. Let me see how bad it is because it was Halloween time.
Mhm.
And it was so boring. I didn't care about Russell Crowe. I didn't care about any of the characters. I didn't care what happened to the boy that he was trying to help. It's really just one of the worst films for an exorcism movie that just was like, all right, it felt like throwaway garbage. Like Julius Avery, who did like a couple of films in the past, and you might know him from like do you not remember that Sylvester Stallone movie that came out in 2022 and it was called The Samaritan?
Yes, that
He
was
did
on
that.
Amazon Prime.
Yes. Also did Son of a Gun, which he was the writer for, but
Mhm.
he was also the director of Overlord. And I
I
saw
like
Overlord.
Overlord.
Overlord is very good.
Underrated as hell. Saw that twice in
I
theaters.
thought I thought it was very good. Like I saw this one day on Amazon Prime and I watched it and I was like, I wanted to see it for a while. And I
Mhm.
thought it was really kind of cool.
It is a good.
It just feels like the
Yeah.
last few films he's kind of like tailored off and just didn't do anything as extreme. But this is just nothing new. It's
So, quick
uh,
question with this movie: do you feel like that this was originally going to be a straight to DVD film, but they managed to get
oh, it
Russell Crowe?
has the absolute like little checks offs to be like,
But they got Russell Crowe for it, so they said, "Shit, we got to release this in theaters."
yeah. And I bet you if they didn't have Julius Avery attached, they probably would have gotten somebody else.
Because this feels like I did not watch this movie. I saw clips of it. It looks like something I'd see on like Hulu.
not to bash Hulu, but it's like a direct to DVD Hulu movie.
Yeah.
That's what I want to put out there, because Hulu has released some stuff that isn't, great, but it's not I'm trying to clarify for Hulu, because we were, I'm trying to save our butts with Hulu. This, however,
I'm sorry. More like
Exorcist isn't that great.
this looks like something you see on Crackle. Save it.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Crackle. Okay. Fair enough.
All right. So my number 8. So this is going to be a trend with this. I want you to see if you pick up with it. But this is a sequel to a DC film, and it was very disappointing. And it doesn't matter in the grand scheme of things because it's not canon anymore. And that's Shazam: Fury of the Gods.
Oh.
How well do you remember your childhood? Rejected by your parents, then by the system, but then something incredible happened.
Say my name.
I spent millennia searching for a worthy champion.
Give us the powers, child.
Go fight for the world.
Hey, Khaleesi! Shazam! Fury of the Gods. Rated PG-13.
Now, contrary to popular belief, I don't hate Shazam: Fury of the Gods. I actually thought it was just disappointing. Like, I love the first Shazam movie. I remember I told you, I said, oh, this is like one of the best DC films they did, because this actually has a different brand of characters. Like, this has part to it. It's about family. And I thought the strongest aspect of the first film was that, it had its funny moments, but it was still like that family aspect that makes you feel good about it. And this one, they kind of just took it back and were just like, here's more comedy and a little bit of family, and then like some it was dumb. The villains were fine. I liked Helen Mirren as the villain, was pretty funny. Lucy Liu is fine. Rachel Zelger is, whatever. But the CGI didn't look good either. And like I said, this movie doesn't really matter. Like, we're probably never gonna see Zachary Levi as Shazam again, unless James Gunn's like, hey, you want to come back for the DCU or my DC? And like, it felt like it had no stakes to it, because even the after credit scene was like, oh, he'll be back. No, he won't. And it just wasn't good. It was very just it took the elements of the first film, stripped it away, and just said, here's a more generic superhero movie.
No, I understand, but here's the thing. I really liked Shazam for the Fury of the Gods, but I understand where everybody has their criticisms about it, and I say, okay, but some of the stuff I overlooked because I enjoyed the sequel. Like, I'm in that rare, I was like, it was fun.
I still think the first one is
still the first one is unbelievable, and I love the first one, but I really liked the sequel. I thought it was fine, but like,
so I want to know what made you like the sequel. Like, what are some of the aspects?
First of all, the performances. I didn't think the CGI was that bad. I liked the story. I liked the villains of it, and I liked the jokes in it with the Skittles. I liked the whole aspect of the family situation. I liked the love story between Rachel Zegler and what's his face? I can't think of him.
Yeah, him.
No,
I know who you're talking about. I don't know the name, because I don't even know that. I was gonna say the kid who played Billy. I think he needs to get more roles, because he's actually
Jack Dylan Glazer.
He was actually really good.
Jack Dylan Glazer is really good, and I like him. And
he did better than
Zegler together.
Wait, that's the guy who played Billy?
Freddie.
Oh no, who played Billy?
Billy is Zachary Levi's character. Billy is the
no,
name
who played
the
the kid?
Oh, the kid?
Yeah, who played the kid in Shazam? Who played the kid version of Zachary Levi?
Oh God, I could picture him right in my mind.
Because I feel like he did better in this one.
I think it's Asher Angel. Yeah,
he did better in this one than Zachary Levi. Because I don't know, with Zachary Levi, he just felt very annoying in this. Like, he played more of like the kid version of him, where it's like, I know it's like it's a kid pretending to be adult superhero, but like, for some reason, Zachary Levi just felt like.
Do you think he maybe hand up the performance a little bit?
A little bit, because like the best scene was when the kid version of Billy was crying because his mom said, we love you, we're not going to adopt you out, and like he actually showed emotion and just cut to Zachary Levi. I'm like, wow, this took me out of the scene real quick. And I feel like he has more. The kid who played Billy, the kid version of Billy, I definitely want to see him in more stuff. If they want to bring him back for another character, I'd be down with that. Or even bring back Shazam, but I'd just probably tell Zachary Levi just stop with the hammy shit.
Respect that you put that on there, and I liked it a little bit more than you. I respect your opinion on that. All right, moving on to my number 8. It's a film that we talked about earlier this year, with our friend Tyler Barnark. We talked the Reese Witherspoon and Ashton Kutcher film Your Place or Mine.
Hey, Debbie.
Happy birthday, Peter. 20 years of friendship. Can you believe it?
How do you still speak to me?
Do you remember the first night we met?
Never stops being weird.
So weird.
Do you remember that? And it was the rom-com where they're not even in together. They like switch cities.
Yeah,
Remember that?
I just completely put it out of my head.
You did? I
Yeah.
thought this film was sure going to be on your list because I thought this film was so bad.
So my rankings to how to pick movies is that if I remember at least something from the movie, I'll put it on there. I don't remember anything from this film, so it didn't make the
That's
list
why
at all.
I put the film on my worst list because if I don't remember it and if it's not going to leave a lasting impression on me, then that's when it gets put on, you know?
I can understand that.
Like if you don't like you could there's stuff you can talk about for like any movie, but then it's like when I was looking at my worst end list stuff, I was like, yeah, these were all films I was completely bored by, and I was checking my phone or felt like I wanted to do something else with my life, you know? So
Yeah.
like Your Place or Mine, I thought at least there was going to be some glimmer of hope, you know, because it's Reese Witherspoon and Ashton Kutcher, and they both are known for like their rom-com stuff. And knowing that, I felt like, you know, this was shot during COVID where they both weren't even in like the same spot. It just felt like so dumb to me. Like there's like no connection between the two at all. They don't spend really any time together except over the phone when they talk. And the continuity where we talked about it with Tyler, if you want to hear us more blab about it, we could send you on over to that episode. And it wasn't good. Eileen Brosh McKenna did not do a great job with this film, with the directing. Doesn't do anything new for the rom-com genre in general. It's just very, very bland.
That's the way to really describe. Well, nobody think with like, if a movie's bad, I at least want to be like, hey, this is the reason why I think it's bad because of this one scene. And like, if a film's forgettable, bad, I'm like, I don't even want to put you on the list because it's just like I won't have anything to say. You kind of just took everything I would have said about the movie and put it in your list.
Okay, fair enough. All
So
right.
I let you pick up that slack for me. But my number 7 is a film that maybe 18 people saw, and I was one of them, and that's 2023's House Party.
This house is crazy, bro. Somebody famous live here? Oh my God.
We in LeBron's house.
LeBron who? James!
You are one handsome champion.
He got a hologram of himself just to give him compliments.
You handled the decision to go to Miami perfectly.
Nah.
Oh yeah, you were probably the only person who probably bought a ticket to that theater.
I did not. I actually
but you
watched
didn't.
it.
I remember.
I watched it on Max.
Yes, this
It-
seems like it could have been like a straight to streaming Max original based on the trailer. And I was like, do we need a house party
The only reason
reboot?
the only reason it's in theaters is because LeBron James is the producer. That's all. That I can guarantee you.
Does LeBron James even make an appearance? Like, I didn't even see
Yes,
this
he
film.
does.
Okay, of course.
Near the end, it's a cameo because the whole plot is
And
just
does everybody freak out like, whoa, it's LeBron? Yo,
well, it's like
what?
these characters are throwing a party in his house. It's like, how do you not?
Oh, they do? See, like
Yeah,
I
'cause-
didn't know anything about it.
The premise is that is these two friends, they work for a cleaning company, and they end up cleaning LeBron's house, and they're like, oh my God, we're cleaning LeBron's house. It's like he's away for business or something. So then they're like, okay, we're gonna throw a party, and everyone comes, and there's like a lot of cameos. I think Tyga's in it, Wiz Khalifa. Like there's like
Oh no, not Tyga.
there's just like a lot of 2010s celebrities. I even mentioned like in the review in the top 10, I said like there's a lot of like 2010s like meme references. And I'm like, dude, how come the only good house party is just the original one? Did you watch the original House Party?
No.
The original one is such like it's not a perfect film, but it's really good. It's still like it's a fun 90s film. Like with Kid and Play and everything, good music.
Like
And
I
it's just-
didn't know it was a movie until like I knew it was like being remade.
Yeah, it's an original. It's a freaking staple, but the new one was just so dumb. Like I remember they made a half-baked chew,
Oh my gosh, I remember
the
that.
one with Lil Yachty. It's kind of like that. Like that's what I got the vibes from. I'm just like, did you really need to make a sequel? And House Party was just very boring, and I was just like, I'm so sick of this shit.
Oh, well, sorry you didn't have the party like you wanted to.
I watched Project
Would
X, and I
have.
don't even like Project X that much.
Neither do I. Oh. But anyways, we're going to move on to my number 7, and that is the other Exorcist movie, and that is The Exorcist Believer, directed by David Gordon Green, who we know from the Halloween remakes,
Man,
the retelling.
what a shitty like downhill turn this is. Wait, he started off good with the first Halloween, and it's just gone all downhill. What the hell happened?
Something's going on with my daughter.
It's happening to my daughter, too.
Mother.
People have died on both sides of possession. If you don't make it, I don't make it.
Is it working? Mama, I can't see you.
Baby,
I'm right here. One girl lives. One girl dies. You get to choose.
Rated R. Only in theaters October 6th.
Let me tell you, I love his movie Stronger. I absolutely love that film. With Jake Gyllenhaal, he's directed Our Brand is Crisis, directed by with Sandra Bullock. He's directed the Nicolas Cage movie Joe. He directed Prince Avalanche with Paul Rudd, The Sitter, Your Highness. Like, he's done a lot of comedy. And then he had a whole career change directing Halloween. Then the first Halloween did well. Then the other two were like downhill wheelbarrow stuff that was gonna like go down in flames.
Yep.
Exorcist Believer is no different from that. It's awful. Leslie Odom Jr. is so miscasted. So is everyone in this film. Do you know Sugarland, the band?
No.
Okay, so there's this band called Sugarland, and Jennifer Nettles is the lead singer of that group. She's in this movie, which I was questioning, like, why did she get casted here?
Well, if I'm not mistaken, isn't the mom from the original movie in the movie for like 10 minutes or 5 minutes?
And poor Ellen Burstyn, oh my God, she is just wasted here. She is absolutely wasted. And the stuff they did to her character, shame on them.
So was it a character assassination?
They basically blinded her.
Oh my God. See, when they were like, we're bringing back an original cast member, my first thing was like, oh, they'll bring back Linda Blair. To be like, I know how it feels to be possessed. I know what we can do to get the demon out or something. Like, that would have been cool.
Like, she does, like, Ellen Bernstein does, like, do, like, exorcist stuff, you know? But then, you know, she just gets ultimately defeated.
It's so
by
dumb.
One of the characters. It's very dumb. I don't know why they casted it. I don't even know why they even tried with a new Exorcist film, because they should have just left it. I know we're in this thing of where everything's gonna get rebooted and recycled and resequeled and stuff, and
so
it just wasn't great.
Did you have expectations for this? Because I remember
No.
when it was first announced saying, oh, Blumhouse is doing Exorcist, I was like, this is not going to be good. Like, this is going to be 50-50. And like, actually, there's a few horror pages I follow that they actually put Exorcist Believer in their best horror movies of the year. And
What is that? I want to know what those pages are.
They said they liked it. I don't know exactly. I'm not going to name names, or no, I can't remember, but like, they said they liked it. Like, it got overly hated on. I'm like, did we watch the same Exorcist movie? Because that movie was very bad.
Oh, well, I want to know who put it as their best, because I've seen people put it on their worst.
No, there's like 2 pages I follow. They put it as their best. I'm like, what the? They're like, it's slow and it's methodical. I'm like, it was slow and boring and kind of funny. The scene in the church was funny when she came in with a bloody dress.
It's very funny, and I'm sad because this could have been at least somewhat passable, but it's not. But you know, it didn't do as well as most people, like what Jason Blum thought of, because the release date was changed from October 13th to October 6th, because that was the weekend Taylor Swift released her Eras Tour movie, and they know they wouldn't have gotten back that money for anything, so they had to release it early. Do you remember that?
They should have just kept it on that same weekend, because what if you had people leaving the Taylor Swift movie? They're like, let's go see a horror movie, and they just go see.
No, well, at least it would have been. They thought it would have at least been #1 at the box office. I don't know if
it wasn't. It wasn't.
Probably not.
No.
So, anyways, don't watch it. It's not great. The Exorcist movie is like of 2023, don't watch them except for like Talk to Me.
Just watch the first Exorcist movie and pretend there's nothing else that happened.
All right. Anyways, what's your number 6?
Number 6 is a film that pretty much I believe no one that I know have watched. I watched it on Netflix and was highly disappointed. That's The Machine.
7 years ago, one incredible story blew up the internet.
When I was 22, I got involved in the Russian mafia. I did not speak Russian.
Yeah, machine. 23 years after those events, the story continues.
You're coming with me back to Russia.
He's going down.
So you can fight.
Party to me down.
The Machine. Exclusively in movie theaters May 26th. Rated R.
Okay, yeah, this is a Netflix original, but I knew about this.
Yeah, this is the movie that's based on Bert Kreischer, the comedian's story about when he was a teenager, he went to Russia and he hung out with gangsters. So this is like a movie. Do you not know? Do you not know the story?
No, I didn't know this was real about the comedian.
Yeah, so it's like
I don't really follow this comedian really. So
okay, so his most famous story was like back in 2014. He told the story with his shirt off because that's his gimmick. About how he's known as like in the 90s he was like the Van Wilder of Florida State, like he was a party guy, and he told a story when he was in his junior year of college. He took Russian language as a course. They went to Russia. He ended up hanging out with Russian gangsters. He robbed his classmates. It's like a big story. Like you can find it on YouTube, like remixes and stuff like that. And they said we're gonna make it. Got so popular. That's kind of like how his career blew up from that story. And like they were like, we're making a movie and Mark Hamill is his dad, and it takes place like after the story gets told, and it's like, oh my god, the story's real. And it's just like the Russian mob wants him because they think that he stole like a watch when he's younger, so they try to get back at him. And it's so dumb. There's no comedy, there's like a lack of content. It's just mostly just, if you're a hardcore Brett Kreischer fan, like you may like this movie, but I thought it was just very boring. I didn't think it was funny. Mark Hamill was incredibly wasted on this. It was just weird to have him as his dad. And it just didn't work. I remember Lionsgate, they put so much effort into promoting this, and this bombed at the box office. I think this made $10.7 million out of his $20 million budget. So then they cut their losses because they were promoting the hell out of this movie. I remember this because this movie was in development for, I want to say like 8 years.
Oh wow.
Yeah, but it watch the stand-up. It's a little funnier, but like the movie's just not funny.
If you could have any other comedian turn like one of their bits into a film, who would it be?
Oh, freaking Bill Burr talking about just any Bill Burr or Norm Macdonald.
I love Bill Burr. He is so funny. You should watch him in Leo, the one where he just did with Adam Sandler. Oh my gosh, I didn't think it was gonna be that cute or charming or funny, but it was. It wasn't bad.
I've heard
really
good things about that movie. That's weird.
It was pretty good. Moving on. Number 6. This movie was also another recent Christmas film released on Netflix. Yeah, it stars Brandy Norwood, Heather Graham, and Jason Biggs.
What a
best Christmas ever.
Dear friends, family, and fellow Earth dwellers, life just seems to fly by when you're having a splendiferous time.
Oh, is that?
The Jennings holiday newsletter.
It's the most absurd thing ever. I would love to show up at her house uninvited and to see the actual truth.
No, it's they have an exclamation point, but I call it worst Christmas ever. Like I'm trying to make a fart sound, but it's not working.
There you go.
It was so bad. So
I mean, with that cast, it sounds like the Christmas movie of all time.
I mean, I like Brandy too. Like Heather Graham has been starring in some stuff recently, like a lot of like straight to DVD stuff, but it definitely is one of the worst Christmas movies I've seen for this year. It's very tacky and it's got all the stuff to make it like a Hallmark movie, but all the characters in this are so unlikable, especially the film's lead, Heather Graham, who is just jealous, basically. Like she isn't, I don't want to say jealous, but she is just like,
what's the movie about so I can get this analysis?
Okay, so basically, The film is about it's about friendships that puts the ultimate test over a boatload of holiday newsletter, but that doesn't do the film justice. But let me see if I can find a better one. Here we go. Every year at Christmas, Jackie, played by Brandy, sends a cocky newsletter to her friend Charlotte, played by Heather Graham. Fate brings Charlotte and Jackie's doorstep, and as a result, Charlotte tries to prove that her friend's life is not perfect. So basically, Heather Graham tries to make Brandy's life atrocious.
What a bitch.
You know, yeah, she's just like the
Oh my
ultimate,
God. Jesus.
yeah, and and there's a cute moment where like Brandy and Jason Biggs do sing in the film, and Brandy does sing in the film, but
Are they
it's
supposed to be
just
friends?
they're supposed to be friends, but I feel like it's like frenemies in the end. But Brandy is just like kind of like seeing the good of it's like, oh, it's this and that and this and that. And then they have a bratty daughter who just like tries to act like a know-it-all, and it's just not.
I feel like if I watched this, I would have probably punched the TV out of frustration because these sounds like the most insufferable characters. Like even Hallmark movie characters aren't this bad. Jesus Christ.
Yeah, it's not great. I don't recommend it. But moving on. What's your number 5?
So my number 5 is going to be Disney and how to eviscerate a franchise 101. And that's going to be Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny.
I don't believe in magic. But a few times in my life, I've seen things I can't explain. And I've come to believe it's not so much what you believe, it's how hard you believe it. Hang on! Give him hell, Indiana Jones!
Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny. Rated PG-13. Tickets on sale now.
Yeah, I didn't watch this, but I remember talking about it one day with AJ and you, and just how disappointing it was.
Yeah, I did. I was going to see this in theaters, and I think you said why. And I thought about it. I said, yeah, you're right. So then I waited for it to come on Disney Plus, and holy shit, this is a very terrible, horrible movie. Like the first 10 minutes, they feel like the most Indiana Jones with the DH Harrison Ford. Like it was fun, but then everything else was downhill. Phoebe Waller-Bridge is insufferable in this movie.
That's what a lot of people said.
Jesus Christ, like her character.
Maybe they should just have like Harrison Ford do like one last adventure by himself with.
Well, no, with Indiana Jones, you kind of like, especially Harrison Ford at this age, you kind of do need someone younger to take up that mantle. But like, I think what would have made this better is that I saw this as like a post on Facebook. If they had Q Hui Kwan, did I pronounce his name right, from Everything Everywhere at Once, come back as the kid from I forgot which one it was. He was the taxi driver.
Yes. Like
he could have been like the new adventure with Indiana Jones. Like that would have been awesome. Because we actually is name recognition, because Mutt's dead. He died in Vietnam. Nothing about it. Like Helena is so unlikable. She's a know-it-all. She likes to brag. She's a liar. She's a thief. Like at least with Indy, he's like, I want to preserve these archaeological. He wants to preserve these artifacts, but she tries to steal them, and she lies to him and sells them on the black market. And it's implied that she uses sex as a way to get information.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I was not, and then I'm like, is this the hype I've heard about James Mangold? Like, this is not convincing me that he's a good director, or he's very overrated if that's the case. But I'll give him the benefit of the doubt. I'm not going to put this movie 100% on him because I feel like
studio got involved.
Yeah, because I don't know if you knew there was a lot of reshoots with this, and apparently the test screening for this movie was like they hated it, so they actually had to do like extensive reshoots. But if this is the last, it managed to do one thing. It made Crystal Skull better. Like legit, I'm not kidding. Like I rather watch Crystal Skull than Dial of Destiny. Yeah.
Well, at least we don't have to worry about Indiana Jones anymore. I don't think he.
No, we probably will. They'll probably reboot it. They'll probably
at some point. Watch Harrison Ford will be like in a wheelchair, and then they'll be like,
Oh no, it'll be Chris Pratt, because that was the original plan. They were gonna do.
I would have liked that.
I remember they were talking about doing.
Yeah, I know, and I would have liked that.
But apparently Harrison Ford's like, no.
All right. Well, anyways, moving on to my number 5. And number 5, I'm just going to talk about real quick because I'm looking at this movie now and I'm like, another movie I was bored with, and a movie I thought was so unfunny, and I was disappointed from the director, and that is the film We Have a Ghost, directed by Christopher Landon.
We have a ghost.
Okay.
No, I'm serious, Kevin. Caught him on camera. Oh, we gotta show him off.
No.
And Christopher Landon's last film was Freaky, one of the best films, like modern horror, switcheroo, Freaky Friday, comedy, serial killer films. And I put that like in my top 10 of like 2020.
Mhm.
This, I don't know what happened here. This was like a family horror movie where there's a ghost involved, and Jennifer Coolidge is in it, David Harbour, Anthony Mackie, Tig Notaro's in it. Like, there's some good people in it. It just didn't work with its execution, I think.
Maybe this is the reason why he left Scream 7, because they're like, you made this piece of shit. Get the fuck out of here.
No, oh, did they discover that months later? Yeah.
Yeah, they're like, oh, what
Maybe.
is this? 'Cause I like Christopher Landon. I like Happy Death Day. I like the
Yes,
first one.
I
It was
do
a-
too. Like,
I
I
did-
like him.
Yeah, and it's like I did watch this movie, and I will agree that it was very like it's on Netflix, correct? I got to double
Yes.
check.
Yes,
I
this was
s-
a Netflix original.
I saw the preview. I'm like, okay, this looks kind of funny, and then I watched it. I was like, oh my god, this is not funny at all. This is very bad.
Yeah, there was a scene with Jennifer Coolidge getting spooked by like David Harbour. I didn't think it was that funny. It was just like everybody who is funny, like or like known to be funny, like Jennifer Coolidge, like Tig Notaro, they're not great in this film. I think it's very safe for this family comedy thing, and I feel like I wasted my time. I didn't really care about anything that happened in this film.
Do you feel like that it was probably going to be like a little bit more adult before?
It could
then-
have been, but I think that like maybe if they took some deeper risks, if they didn't have the kids involved, and maybe they did something with like just Anthony Mackie, and then maybe like there was some deeper adult humor to it,
Mhm.
then maybe this could have been great. But otherwise, I just felt like, yeah, I feel like I'm wasting my time with this movie.
Rip.
Yeah. But anyways, we're getting down towards the end. What is your number 4?
So my number 4, actually, this was a late entry because I wanted to wait until I saw it just to see if it was gonna make it in. Yeah, it did, and it replaced Expendables 4, and Expendables 4 sucked. So
I'm not surprised.
my number 4 is Aquaman and the Last Kingdom.
Are you seeing this?
It's not normal.
Definitely not normal. I'm gonna go pick a fight.
Just let me handle this. Fine. Flex your muscles.
Oh, not surprised that you would put that.
Oh my god. You want to talk about, I wrote it in my review. I can't see a more ironic way for the DCEU to end its first iteration than with a very messy, very bloated, very dumb movie. Like everything that we mentioned about Thor Love and Thunder being like a problem with the making Chris Hemsworth's character like too like goofy and making it more goofy, they did that with Aquaman tenfold.
Oh no.
So like Jason Momoa's character, the thing with Aquaman, I feel like, is that they made his character just too much like Jason. Like he became too quippy. He was just joking. He was like very jokey and everything. And I'm like, dude, like it gets so annoying. Patrick Wilson was severely wasted for his time. Yahya Abdul-Mateen was wasted. I like Black Manta, and they killed that.
I like him too.
Me too. And like, every time Amber Heard was on screen, I booed her. But like
I don't think nobody really cared.
Nah, at that
They're like,
point, no, it was just like, oh, you're in this. I forgot. And it's like it's so boring. It's 2 hours and 5 minutes. And it feels like nothing happens. And then when you realize like, oh yeah, we're not gonna see Aquaman ever again in this iteration, so it doesn't fucking matter because there's no post-credit scene. They cut that out. And if I'm not mistaken, originally I think Ben Affleck was gonna have a cameo, but they got filmed because this film had heavy reshoots. And then they made Randall Park a supporting character, like a side character. Like I like Randall Park, but I was like, okay, interesting.
Wait, Randall Park?
He's in this movie. Yes, he's a scientist.
Okay, I think I remember seeing him wasn't he like in the last film too?
I think so, because he was working with Black Manta, I'm not mistaken.
Okay. I forgot he was in that then. Okay.
And then like I forgot Nicole Kidman's the mom. I was like, who the fuck is that?
I like her. Willem Dafoe.
Oh, and he's gone. He's dead.
I forgot. Oh yeah, I forgot about that too. Oh my
Yeah.
god, I forgot a lot of stuff that happens in Aquaman.
Literally, I was like, I think I said
What? Wait. Oh man. Okay, 18. Wow, that was a while ago.
Yeah, and it
Okay,
took, like,
that was a
5 years.
minute.
And
That
it's
was a minute.
and with Last Kingdom, I always think of like or Lost Kingdom. I'm thinking like, how the hell did the first film make $1 billion? That's one of the things that like baffles me. How did the first Aquaman make $1 billion and the second one's not even gonna come close? Because can you say that no one can like what made that first? I want to ask you, what in your opinion made Aquaman $1 billion movie? In your opinion?
I think it had to be because we were still like just coming out of that Marvel like Infinity War stuff. So it had to be that.
It's Infinity War, but it's Aquaman. Was it? You can't say it was solely because of Jason Momoa, could you?
It's not solely a Jason Momoa. I think it was just because Aquaman was getting adapted.
I mean,
and then it was an action film.
I mean, I guess I'm like, is Aquaman? I'm not gonna. Well, I shouldn't say that, but like, is he really like a character like you'd want to go out and see? Because the only interaction we had with him at that point was in that Justice League movie that came out the year before.
Mm-hmm. Well, here's the thing: I didn't see Aquaman in theaters. I ended up renting it. So, I wanted to at the time, but I didn't get to see it in theaters.
I never saw it in theaters. I saw it at home, and it was fine.
Yeah, I think it was a better at home rental. So,
but I don't know. Lost Kingdom, it's just more of like depressing knowing that like damn, the DCEU actually started off like with some promise, and if they let Zack Snyder, depending. Oh yeah, shout out! I forgot to put Rebel Moon on my list. Damn it! I know I forgot something. But if they just let him do his plan, do Man of Steel 2, and then do the whole team up movie, maybe we're in a different timeline. But it's rushed, it was bloated, and that's how you end it, and it's sad. So, I mean, if you want to go see the end of the era, you can watch Lost King, whatever something Kingdom. Yeah.
Well, moving on to my number 4. This is what I think should be an end of a franchise for a certain person we have talked about in the past. Do you know the name? Well, no, we know the name because we talked about this person from time to time. But Robert Rodriguez.
Oh no, is this what I think it is?
Spy Kids Armageddon.
Oh no!
Games? Do you want to get busted? There's something wrong with this game.
Antonio.
Hi. Oh, good. It's locked. Just making sure. Really?
They should have ended Spy Kids with Spy Kids 3D, Spy Kids 1, 2, 3, or it's like the trifecta. I don't care what you said.
There's
Spy Kids 3 is the best.
A reboot. So like I think after the third film, they should have just like been like, all right, we're not gonna touch this for years. We're gonna until I have grandkids. But no, Robert Rodriguez, and he worked with his son on this movie for this latest adaptation starring Zachary Levi and Gina Rodriguez, and it was not good. It does bring up like gaming elements and like, oh, these kids are glued to their technology, and I didn't care. None of the reboot people like from the previous films show up for this new concept, but it was boring. I felt tired after watching it. I was just like a movie shouldn't make me feel tired. Like I was just like,
so my question
film where I was like bored, even with Zachary Levi, he was not great here, and I'm just like,
so my
Gina
question
Rodriguez, these kids are terrible in the film too. I was not expecting. I think it's the material they were given, and it wasn't good.
Okay, so my question with this is that what was worse, this one or the Sharkboy Lava Girl sequel they did?
I think definitely this.
Oh my god! So did you watch Spy Kids 4 at all?
I did watch Spy Kids 4 with remember
Smell-O-Vision.
Smell-O-Vision?
Please tell me.
Nothing is.
I have the scratch card somewhere.
Oh my god, that's probably worth millions.
Something, because those things don't expire. They actually keep the scent on it. And I remember it was like, smell the baby's diaper at scratch number 4. And it's like, I thought, man,
I
nothing.
remember watching it at home. And I remember wanting to be like, oh, because I was really into film, and I'm like, I gotta go to see how this thing works. I gotta go.
Well, it's like
And I never did.
I didn't.
I'm sure it wasn't anything special in the end, but
The fourth one, I always thought, oh, this one sucks. Like I hope like they could just let the franchise rest. But like, holy crap! I didn't even realize there was a Spy Kids movie this year until
yeah,
like,
a lot of people forgot there was a Spy Kids movie.
yeah, and that's sad. Just bring back Junie and Carmen.
No, because they did that, and remember how that turned out?
Oh yeah, that's I forgot. Shit.
So maybe don't touch the Spy Kids franchise and just let it be. All right, move on to your number 3, Mac.
I feel like there's ways to bring back Spy Kids. Just do 3D again with Sylvester Stallone. My third one is actually funny because they just announced a horror movie of another public domain with Mickey Mouse and Minnie Mouse. So my number 3 is the 2023 Winnie the Pooh Blood and Honey horror movie.
Should be close now. Pooh, Piglet, Eeyore, we were friends for many years.
Christopher, we need to leave.
Oh, right. Oh my gosh. I remember when this was coming out, and I was just like,
I told everyone I could. They go, Winnie the Pooh horror movie. That was the exact response I got from everyone. No one could believe me that this movie was coming out.
eventually, pretty soon, I just see us having a horror movie that is Steamboat Mickey horror. Like,
Yeah,
where
as
it's
soon
like
as oh yeah, well, we should probably mention that. So if you don't know, at the time of this recording, we're recording on January 3rd, 2024.
Yeah.
So the original, I think the original characters of Mickey, Minnie, and Steamboat Willie, so like the OG versions of Mickey Mouse, hit public domain, like beginning on January 1st. And literally, I swear, like within 2 hours, they already announced like 3 Mickey Mouse horror properties. So we're getting 2 movies and we're getting a video game.
Okay, so I want to acknowledge a person on YouTube. So do you know the comedian man carrying thing?
Oh, I saw
Where
the
he
video
did all the
today.
Mickey Mouse
Yeah.
food.
And it's like, I have an idea.
My
It's like,
husband is obsessed with man carrying thing. So
Uh-huh.
he showed this to me. He's like, look at this.
It's
And I was
true.
like, yep.
I watched
This is pretty accurate.
I watched that today, and like, I have an idea. It's like, make something that isn't a horror movie. It's like, this offends my eyes. How dare you show me this? I was like, oh my god, like it's true. And then that's the same thing with the Winnie the Pooh movie because, okay, I'm not opposed to a grown-up Christopher Robin going back to 100 Acre Woods. It did a good job with Christopher Robin, which I still think is the best live-action Disney movie with Ewan McGregor. But
Mhm.
just to make a cheap horror movie, I just think it's dumb. I will give them credit; they made a movie. Like, you can't take that away from them, you know.
Yeah.
But
Can't
like,
take that away.
this movie was so bad. It was so cheap looking. Everyone looked terrible. It was very bad acting.
It
and-
looked so cheap, and I was like, nah, I'm not gonna waste my time on this one. Like,
pro-
it wasn't even the kind of one where it's like so bad horror, it's good.
It's
But it
terrible.
looked like it's so terrible. It is actually terrible.
The only good part about the film would be the beginning animation, like explaining like the backstory into it. That was pretty cool. Everything else is just kind of downhill. Then the ending's stupid. And now we're getting a sequel this year, so that'll probably be on this year's list too.
Oh gosh. All right. Should I move on to my number 3?
Yep.
All right, number 3 really quickly because I don't want to waste my time on this film either. But this movie was like only released by Phantom Events. I saw this at Sundance 2023. I took a chance on it. I thought it was going to be interesting, and it was part of the Midnight's category section, horror section, whatever it's called. And that is Onyx, the Fortress, and the Talisman of Souls.
The hell is that?
Now he's off on an adventure.
Is the ritual going to work? Shall we relate the talisman?
All 5 are present. The Queen, the Viking, a werewolf, the witch, and you are the Virgin.
What the?
Basically, by Andrew Bowser, he takes this internet character, Onyx. I never heard of the character.
Mhm.
And he's kind of became like a cult classic thing and made him film with this. So I'm going to give you the plot. Fledgling Oculus, Onyx, and a group of worshippers attended what's once in a lifetime ritual at a mansion of their idol, Bartok the Great. Oh my God, I remember hearing that name. I saw this film at Sundance when I got my virtual ticket, and I just sat there and I was like, what am I watching? I was like, the comedy wasn't good. It felt like a YouTube bit that was an extended period of time or an extended SNL skit that was way too long. I didn't think any of the characters were charming. And then after I watched this movie, I went to go watch Onyx on something of it.
Mhm.
And I just thought there's no way I could have watched this if I knew about this character. So, if I knew what I was going into. But he's like an outcast, he's different, he's quirky, but most of the dialogue didn't really hit. It felt cringy, but I did give the film credit for the practical effects that were slightly creative that were involved, but nothing really stood out in the end. And I just thought, how was anybody going to pick up this movie? Because the movie didn't have a distributor at the time.
Oh my God, that
But
says a lot about the movie.
so they did a Phantom Events thing. So Phantom Events did release it under that, but I just didn't like it. I don't recommend it. It was probably one of the worst purchases I made from Sundance. So hopefully that won't happen again this year, folks. What is your number 2? Because I have some really bad ones coming up.
So I want you to guess. What do you think my number 2 movie is?
Ooh.
Out of all the movies I talked about, I hate it. What's one that you're like, okay, this has to be in this top 3?
Oh, it has to be The Flash.
Surprisingly enough, The Flash did not make this list at all. Not
What?
Even I didn't think The Flash was terrible. I thought it was just underwhelming. But I wasn't thinking, no. It is a superhero movie, though. But I'm going to say it's Ant-Man 3.
The Conqueror. He will burn the world to find you.
On February 17th.
If you want to stop what's coming, better hurry, Ant-Man.
I don't care who this guy is. This is my fight.
I'm coming for you! You think you can beat me? I am Kane!
Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania. Rated PG-13. February 17th. Get tickets now.
Oh no! Another
Ant-Man-
one we talked about that I really liked.
Ant-Man 3 is fucking terrible. I've said it all year. I said you were wrong. Well, not wrong. I just said to myself, I'm like, I don't know how you like this movie. I was incredibly bored.
Well, me and Darren really liked it.
I thought it was boring. I just didn't like the characters. I thought, not knowing what would happen with Jonathan Majors, I thought his Kang was wasted. And this was like a bad introduction into the new big bad, even though I liked his performance, but it's and then MODOK, terrible. It's just, and it just feels like nothing happens, and it just feels like this is supposed to be 2 movies, and they just kind of lumped it together, and it was just for me, it was a very weak introduction into the new phase of the Marvel Cinematic Universe for Phase 5. I was very underwhelmed, and considering what else we got this year, I'm pretty sure that I said in my I said in my top 10, I said next year is a make or break, legit, or this year is make or break. If Deadpool 3 sucks, they're screwed. There's nothing else you can do with this. What do you do? It's that and Echo, 2 rated R properties, or TVMA and rated R coming out for Marvel.
Wait. I want to go back for a second. Onyx and the Fortress of Talisman, I just wanted to double check, was acquired by Cinema Digman. Sorry. I just wanted to acknowledge that.
There you go.
So sorry, y'all. I just wanted to apologize and make some clarifications.
Yeah, but Ant-Man 3 was, I hate.
Sorry. Go back to Ant-Man.
I hate Ant-Man 3 so much. I'm not even I really do not like the Ant-Man movies. I like the first one because I like the heist movie element. Second one I thought was boring, and this one I thought was terrible.
Oh,
no, you really thought
again?
It was
I'm gonna go in the corner again and be like, well, I liked Ant-Man.
But you can like it, and people have told me I was too harsh on it. I just don't like it. I thought,
yeah, that's fine if you didn't like it.
No, I just thought it was very dumb.
Okay, what's worse than the effects in Ant-Man or the effects in Aquaman or Shazam?
Because of MODOK. That's the only reason. Maybe close second Aquaman
Yeah, well,
because
MODOK is pretty stupid looking.
like maybe the second.
That's the point of MODOK.
Well, yeah, but like it's I don't know. It's so dumb. Like I hate this movie sucks, and it's like it won't even matter now because we might not even get that interpretation again because on Disney Plus they took out the post credit scene, so there's no more post credit scene on Disney Plus or Ant-Man.
Yo, I gotta go get a copy of Ant-Man now because now they may not have that given the fact now that Jonathan Majors is out.
Oh my god. So yep, this is no, I'm not. Let's just say, like, I'm gonna still watch the MCU, but I'm not gonna be excited. Like, I'm not excited for Echo. I don't care. I don't. I have very. I'm scared for Deadpool 3. That's all I'm gonna say.
I'm excited for Deadpool, and I think that's the only Marvel property I will be excited about.
Well, it's funny
for
too
a
because
long time.
speaking of Marvel, did you see the news today about the Thunderbolts?
Yes, Steven Yeun is out.
So what can you do? You can't even get Oscar-winning people to be like, yeah, we're done. I'm not doing this shit.
Well, Steven Yeun's not Oscar, but he
did
is
win an Oscar.
talented. No, Steven Yeun did not win an Oscar.
Are you sure?
Yes.
Are you sure? I will look it up. I swear he won an Oscar, or he got.
Yeah.
I know he got nominated, but you go
He's
ahead and look.
probably nominated, but he has not won.
Okay, he got nominated.
Yes,
That's it. All right.
he was
Okay.
nominated for Minari.
I do apologize for that because I thought he won it.
No,
That was my thing.
unfortunately. But
Yeah, Marvel
Up here.
sucks now. That's my thing. Marvel
All right.
sucks.
moving on to my number 2, to a movie that I didn't think was gonna be terrible, but it's a romantic dramedy that was set and made during COVID that had absolutely terrible laughs. And this film starred Bob Odenkirk, and it's called Life Upside Down.
Hey, Paul, it's me, Jonathan. Hey, how's it going?
Oh, great. You?
Well, if I had $2 million cash and a couple Tahitian girls massaging me, I'd be great.
That's funny.
Remember you
my
mentioned
gosh.
this to me.
It was so dry for a romantic comedy drama. This film, let me tell you, folks, is sitting at a 5% on Rotten Tomatoes from a critic score and a 59% on an audience score. So it tells the story of an art dealer played by Bob Odenkirk who navigates a personal and professional crisis in the global spanning romantic dramedy from acclaimed director Cecilia Minucci. And I don't know what Cecilia was thinking here, but she has done this is like her second movie. First one was called Expired, and that didn't do well either. So, and then she did a movie that she was the executive producer of called Rushlights, but they looked all very straight to DVD when I was like reviewing this, and I was like, what the hell is this? And it's just like unlikable people like dealing with relationship stuff. And for a small budget, I tried not to see past anything bad, but it was so bad for the little that they had. And nothing really happens. Especially like to describe something for a time capsule that happens in quarantine and stuff. It's not good. And they tried to go over stuff about divorce and stuff, like, some critic wrote here about divorce rates would spike. In truth, they dipped between 12%. This is like what somebody wrote for the review. I don't think it's good. Don't waste your time. Bob Odenkirk, what made you say yes to this film?
Money.
There was no money. It was a small budget.
Any of the
I
budget
don't know if
went
he
to
was
him.
being nice and was like, sure, I'll do this for a friend. I feel like that was the only thing.
Yeah, I was gonna say, yeah. I remember you mentioned this to me, and I said, Bob Odenkirk, how did they get him in that?
Yeah, I was very surprised. It was very, very bad. All right. Are you ready for your number 1?
Yes, before I do my number 1, let me give my dishonorable mentions. So, my dishonorable mentions, the movies that did not make the list. I have The Meg 2, Freelance, Children of the Corn, A Haunting in Venice, Bird Box Barcelona, Insidious the Red Door, Strays, The Little Mermaid, About My Father, Expendables 4, and The Marvels. My number one is going to be the Hulu film that is based on the R.L. Stein book of the same name, and that's going to be Zombie Town with Chevy Chase and Dan Aykroyd.
I remember you talked about this on the podcast and you said it was so bad.
Oh my God. Like I was like, oh, cool, zombie movie. Chevy Chase and Dan Aykroyd. It's low budget. It's cheesy. It's like no fault of the two main leads, Maddie Monroe and other kid. I don't know his name. Like it wasn't their fault, but it's just very cookie cutter. You know what it's gonna do. It's safe. It's so bad. It looks so cheap. They don't really look like zombies. They kind of just look like, hey, just paint the face gray and they make some zombies.
Your mom's gonna be very upset with you.
I love your costume. Which, right?
Oh, it's not a costume. I was sweeping the floor. Okay, fine. 1 month detention.
Mrs. Boneyard, please.
It was dumb. I don't like the love subplot. Dan Aykroyd and Chevy Chase are barely in the movie, so they barely had the money to pay them. And it's so terrible. It's bad. Like it is really, really, it's not even so bad it's good. It's just very cringy bad. And it's like, no, I was like, this is my number one movie. This was generally the worst movie I saw all year. It was a late contender, but yeah, I knew it. I just knew it. Jesus Christ, Zombie Town sucks. They need to, and R.L. Stein has a cameo in it, so
no,
Zombie Town is not good. Do not watch it.
That's the same thing I'm gonna say about my number one too, where it's like, I saw it late too, and I didn't think it was gonna be that bad. But let me acknowledge my dishonorable mentions. I mentioned earlier Ghost, Murder Mystery 2, Spinning Gold, Haunted Mansion, Candy Cane Lane, Reptile, Run Rabbit Run, Boston Strangler, Devil's Peak, and Fool's Paradise. Those are my dishonorable mentions. And as for my number one, it is another independent film called The Donor Party.
I don't want to sleep with some rando. I want to know that the father of my child is a good person.
Right. What if we found them for you? I'm thinking 2, maybe 3. We got to flood the fallopian tubes.
You're talking about an orgy?
No, that's insane. You can't do that. You can't just... Although it could work.
A film I'm sure nobody has heard.
I remember you told me about it last podcast. That shit was funny.
I'm not just gonna tell you what happens, folks. I think you want to save yourself from the trauma after what I had to face from this film. But I'll give you the scoop right here from writer and director Tom Harp. The Donor Party follows a recently single Jacqueline, played by Malin Ackerman, who from not Succession. Oh my goodness, Billions, 27 Dresses. She was in a movie that we talked about, A Week in Paradise, one time with the director of that film, but who desperately wants to become a mom by any means necessary.
And by any means necessary, we mean any means necessary.
Yes. After a messy divorce, countless wasted online dating attempts, she realizes she doesn't need a husband to make her dreams come true. Enlisting her best friends, Jacqueline devises a plan to pull off the ultimate sperm heist on unsuspecting donors. Tim, played by Jerry O'Connor, MJ, played Dan Ahu, Mateo, Jeff Torres, and Armin, played by Ryan Hassan, while all celebrating an intimate birthday party for oblivious friend Gregov, played by Rob Corddry. I don't even know if I said the character's name right, but yeah, by Rob Corddry. But yeah, none of this was funny. And most of these people are very funny actors. The script that was given by Mr. Harp is just so bad that I just couldn't believe what happens in this film at times. I would stare at the screen and I was just like, what is happening here? And it's like this very bad sketch comedy and female sexuality in modern times. And, I'm all about if a woman wants to go to get, have a baby that, great. But there's some unamusing bits that are just very bad here. And just one thing I did not like as a person, I thought that was not great. It happens in the movie, I think like the first 30 minutes, maybe. And I want you all to save your trouble. Just don't watch this movie. It's not good. Not good at all. If I could, I would put this as one of the worst comedies I've seen since back when we did the 2020 reviews, and that was the Olivia Copo film, and I almost said Glenn Powell, Court Overstreet film, and that was, oh God, see, I don't even want to remember that one, but it was can't think of it, but it was called The Swing of Things.
Interesting.
Just as bad as that. Remember when I talked about that on the podcast many moons ago. But yeah, don't watch any of the films I had mentioned on this list, people. Just save your precious time. Don't be like me.
If you want to watch films that make you laugh and cringe, you can check them out. It's up to you. We're not going to stop you, you know?
Well, most of these films are cringy.
Yeah, maybe cringe and have a drink off for every cringe moment in a movie. You take a shot. Actually, don't do that. You may actually die of that. But yeah, that's our this is our episode.
I wouldn't encourage that, man.
This is our top 10 worst films of the year list. Worst is always better to do first because
it's like pulling this Band-Aid off.
Well, yeah, it gives you time to cover your ass to make sure you see all the best films to get that done. Get that done soon. So
I did see a lot of really good films over the break, which I can't wait to talk about in the following episode.
Yeah, so next episode we'll be doing our top 10 and best films of the year list. Make sure you follow us on our Instagram, M&K Productions Podcast, and our personal Instagram page. Follow us on TikTok too. Make sure you subscribe to the channel and listen to us on Spotify or wherever you listen to your streaming platform. We are everywhere. You just gotta find us and everything. But until next time, I've been Mac. This has been Kristin, and you have been listening to the M&K Productions Podcast. Peace.
Bye.
Fuck you in the lane you came with. Me and you ain't on the same shit. You ain't in my lane, bitch. Nah, throw that shit in fit. Rollie on my wrist. Ay, baby, you a star. I'm my only wish. I'm counting blue honeys. I'm too money. Ay, and my little bitch, she too lovely. Yeah, hanging up and calling me right back. Ay, baby, why you calling me like that? Yeah, getting high with the seat, lay back. Baby, gon' relax, yeah. Hey, they don't know the half, yeah. No matter what happened, I got your back. Baby, that's the facts, yeah. That's the facts, yeah.